Shomase! Hey everyone, this is Joseph. Welcome to the channel. Do You Speak Extraterrestrial? A new international research hub will coordinate global expertise to prepare humanity for extraterrestrial life. What does humanity do when we realize we aren't alone in the universe? It says currently the only existing agreed contact protocols are those drawn up by SETI community itself in 1989. Quote, but we do know that we cannot afford to be ill-prepared for an event that could turn into reality as early as tomorrow. So remember in Game of Thrones they had the Faith of the Seven? Could this relate to the mystery of the seven stars? And then there's this verse in the book of Job that mentions the Mazzaroth and the Arcturus. The Arcturus is actually the Great Bear, the same as Ursa Major or the Big Dipper. The Mazzaroth is, of course, the same as the Zodiac. So remember the trailer before House of the Dragon started? There were like 12 words spoken. Gods. Kings.
Fire.
So gods could be a reference to Deuteronomy 32 and Psalms 82.
Divine counsel is a term that derives from Psalm 82 and Psalm 89, a few other places in the Hebrew Bible. It refers to the heavenly host. Okay, that's more familiar terminology for us. I mean, there's rank, distinction, and all that stuff. We don't need to worry about that for the sake of this question. So it's the heavenly host. And again, what's going on in Psalm 82 is God is angry. And he's specifically angry at this group of Elohim. Well, who are they? If you go back to, again, you brought up Genesis 11 with Babel. Now, your listeners have heard me say that there was a supernatural rebellion at Babel. And some of them are, if they read, everybody, if you read Genesis 11, where are the demons there? I don't see them. Well, you're not going to see them. If you go to Deuteronomy 32, 8 and 9, it says, when the Most High, we know who that is. Again, that's not difficult. Okay? When the Most High divided up the nations and he fixed their borders. And we know when that happened, that's Babel, okay? Because we get the list of nations, Genesis 10, that go with the Genesis 11 story. When the Most High divided the nations and he fixed their borders, he divided them up according to the number of the sons of God. There's that phrase again, sons of God. It's always divine beings in the Old Testament. And then verse 9 says, but Israel is Yahweh's portion. Jacob is going to be his allotted inheritance. And what it means is that at Babel, God is fed up. Okay, we had the fall, I forgave you. We had the flood, I'm never going to do that again. And I thought that straightened everything out. I told you to disperse. I repeated the Edenic mandate to you. Go out, be fruitful, multiply. We're going to kickstart Eden again here, and look at what you're doing. The narrative actually says, as people at Babel saying, let's build us a tower so that we don't have to disperse, like exactly opposite what they're supposed to do. And God has had it. So what he does is he divorces humanity. I've had enough. I refer to this as the Romans 1 event of the Old Testament. You don't want me to be your God? You're not going to listen to me? Let's see how that works. And he assigns the nations, these peoples that he creates at Babel, to other members of the heavenly host. And he assigns members of the heavenly host to them. There's two sides of that same coin. And we know that's the case because if you go to Deuteronomy 4, 19, and 20, that's the parallel to Deuteronomy 32, 8, 9. It says the same thing, that God allots the heavenly host to other nations, not Israel, other nations. Deuteronomy 17, Deuteronomy 29. I mean, you got this whole thing through Deuteronomy. And what that means is that after Babel, the entire world, as they know it, all the nations are under dominion of some deity other than Yahweh, because he's had it. And so what God decides to do is, okay, they're your placeholders now. I'm going to go call this guy Abraham and his wife, and they can't have kids, so they're perfect. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to supernaturally give them a child, and I'm going to start over. This is my new humanity, Israel. And he makes a covenant with Abraham and says, now look, I know I just divorced all the nations. I was really ticked. But it's going to be through you and your seed that ultimately all of them are going to be blessed. So God wants the nations governed according to his own character, according to his principles of justice. He still loves humanity because they're created in his image. They're his imagers. But what happens, we were not told when, we're just told by the time we get to Psalm 82, God is angry. And if you read why he's angry with the other gods, and he actually calls them sons of the Most High in Psalm 82, verse 6. So it's a direct link back to Deuteronomy 32. He's charging them with sowing chaos among their nations, enslaving their populations, just treating people like garbage. And he's had it. And at the end of the psalm, the psalmist rises up and exclaims, oh God, rise up and take back the nations. Okay, this is the vision. This is what's going on in Psalm 82. So God has had many dealings with his supernatural heavenly host. Some of them rebel. Some of them transgress, Genesis 6. Some of them he gives jobs to, and they either fail gloriously, okay, they fail what they're supposed to do after Babel, or they don't give a rip. Because we also learn from Deuteronomy 32:17 that these shadim, again, there's your territorial entity term. It's not a demon like in the Gospels, but it's a territorial entity, which makes perfect sense because all the nations are under dominion. By the way, this is where Daniel gets his theology. There's another question we never asked. Oh, the Prince of Persia, Prince of Greece, supernatural beings over geopolitical nations. Yeah, I get it.
Hey, you made it to the end of the video. Do you speak extraterrestrial? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Arigato. Mata ne.